Welcome to another episode of the Laura the Library Lady podcast, a production of the Massillon Public Library.
Join us as we celebrate our 125th anniversary during our podcast series, The History of the Massillon Public Library. We've come a long way since the McClymonds Public Library first opened in a house on the corner of historic 4th Street and North Avenue Northeast in 1899. Since then, we've moved to our current home, opened branches in Brewster and Navarre, and added bookmobile and outreach services. In this series, we're going to talk to some voices from the past as we explore our locations. Happy anniversary, Massillon Public Library. Hi, it's Laura, the Library Lady, coming to you from high atop the Massillon Public Library here in downtown Massillon, Ohio. And today I have two special guests from the Massillon Women's Club, Suzie Thomas and Laurie Gankoski. Welcome.
Thank you.
I wondered if you'd each tell us a little bit about yourselves. Who wants to go first?
Laurie does.
Oh,
She
okay.
does. Oh, okay. I am not actually from Massillon, but my husband was. So I didn't know anything about the Women's Club or anything about Massillon until I met him, and we were going to get married. And they told me about the Women's Club, and I just fell in love with it. So we had our wedding reception there.
Very nice.
And so, yeah, that's a very special memory. 38 years ago, quite a while ago. And I actually did not join until a little over 5 years ago.
Okay.
But I am currently on the board. We're both on the board, and I am actually currently the president of the board this year.
And that's why you're here with us today.
Yes. And the other hat that I've been wearing for a few years is manager and buyer in the gift shop.
Oh, very
So,
nice. And they
yes.
do have a beautiful gift shop.
We do. We're very proud of it.
Yeah.
Okay, Suzie.
All righty. Well, I have been going to the Massillon Women's Club since I was about 3 years old. My grandma's claim to fame was that she was a president of the Massillon Women's Club.
Oh,
and
wow.
so everything was, anything Grandma was involved with, we were also in it. And so I think back in the day, they used to do plays and musicals and
Oh, wow.
all kinds of things. And she would gather her grandchildren, and we would all have a part. We'd be all in the plays that Grandma was doing. But she was married there. My parents were married there. My older son and our daughter-in-law were married there.
Oh, my
We did our
goodness.
younger son's rehearsal dinner there, and every big family occasion that I can think of throughout our history of our lives has taken place inside those walls. So it's a very special place to us.
Oh, it is. Oh, my goodness. That's so inspiring. And really what the family who owned the home first meant it to be used for. So what a perfect example. Let's talk a little bit about where the Women's Club is located for those who don't know.
It's on the corner of 4th Street, historic 4th Street in Massillon, Ohio, and North. So 4th and North, and pretty easy to spot. It stands out.
It's a big giant stone house called Five Oaks. so-
Yes, exactly, because there were 5 oak trees in the yard, and there still are.
That was my next question.
Yes.
There still are 5 oaks. Are they the same oaks, or do you think some of them were replanted?
No, I know some of them have been replaced over the years,
Okay.
yes.
Because
But
the
we always-
house was built in,
1892 to 1894.
wow.
Took 2 years.
And if you look at it, you can tell why it took 2 years.
Yes.
It's beautiful. It's huge.
And you know, honestly, I have been going there since I was 3 years old, and every time I am in a room, I'll look up and I'll see some detail that I have never seen before. The carving, everything is so custom, and the hand carving and the incredible detail
Yeah, very
that is
unique.
in every single corner. You can see why it took 2 years to build. It is an amazing place.
So how long have you been involved? You said 5 years, Laurie, at the Women's Club, and
Same. As a member myself, only about 5 years, right before COVID hit.
Oh,
That's when we got started.
Yeah.
And they were celebrating their 100th anniversary as being Massillon Women's Club,
oh, right.
and that's when I first got involved.
Yeah, I think I saw something in the newspaper about it, and I said, oh, I want to be part of that now. My kids are older. I would love to be part of maintaining that beautiful home and being part of it. So that's why I joined.
Wonderful. And I know the home is not owned by the club itself, but it's owned by the Heritage Foundation.
That's correct.
And so
Massillon.
how does that work?
The Massillon Heritage Foundation is actually the owner. That occurred, I think, about 1975, 1976. At the time, the ladies had it since 1924 when it was gifted to them. And, over the years, there's awfully costly repairs that were coming up, and it was just becoming more and more difficult to maintain the cost of the repairs. And no one could give a donation and get a tax,
Because it was a private club.
Correct. Okay. So
no deductions.
Right. So Massillon Heritage was formed. They were 501c3, so you could give money to them. Now, we have, in the last few years, actually become a 501c3 as well.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So, yes. So that has helped a lot. But they have been instrumental in, oh my goodness, the elevator was probably a very major expense recently, roof repairs. So we have a good rapport with them. When you are president of the board, you also attend their board meetings, not a non-voting member. But it's a good, we have this liaison so that we can tell them what's going on. They can tell us what's happening on their side. So we have a good relationship.
Good partnership.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the beginnings of the home and how it was built and everything. So it was built from 1892 to 94.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
the McClyman family. And they're very well known actually in the area. Their daughters went on to, one of the daughters went on to marry a Wales, and so people are familiar with
Spring Hill Historic
Spring
Home,
Hill
the Wales
and Wales Road and everything. And so you can, and then it goes down to another generation where they're the McLeans and McLean Grocery and all of that. So it the McClymans, Wales, McLeans kind of goes through that generation. And McLean, there's still a McLean member today.
There is, yes.
So yeah, the McClymans. What was his industry? He was a businessman of some
He
kind.
was Russell and Company. He became president.
That's right.
I have this.
Russell Company. Yes.
He ran his wife's business. Yeah, his wife's family business.
Well, right, because she was a Russell.
Yes,
And I'm sure that's how they met.
and
Had to be.
probably he and his brother, the McClyman boys, married the Russell girls, and
Right.
then they did. Yeah, you're right. It was Russell and Company.
And they made steam engines.
Yes.
That's what I was trying to think of.
Yes,
exactly
steam
what
engines.
they did.
The Massillon Museum owns a steam engine.
Oh, that's so
Their
cool.
steam tractors, yes, that they built, and farm
Very, very
machinery, and they were international.
Yeah,
And then he
yeah.
got into banking after that. So
Yes, and I have in my notes, in
Yes.
1890, he had founded the Merchants National Bank in Massillon
That is so cool.
and built a office building downtown, same side of the street on Lincoln Way as the library, and in the bottom floor, it's now Crackpot's Comedy Club.
Oh
Yes.
my
So
goodness.
that was the McClyman's
it
building.
still says McClyman's at the top.
I
You're
knew
right,
I would
yeah,
learn
in stone.
something if
Right.
I came here. I knew I would learn something. That is very fun to know. What's kind of fun is to know that right across North Avenue, right across the street from Five Oaks,
I know what you're going to say.
the Russell home. And here's the tie-in with the library. Is the Russell home then those sisters that married McClyman brothers,
Right.
Flora and Aunt Annie, they donated their family home to the city of Massillon to be used as the first library.
Yeah.
And it was called the McClyman's Public Library.
Right.
And then giving your house away must have run in the family because then those daughters, Edna and Ruth McClyman, are the ones who gave away their home, Five Oaks, to the women of the city of Massillon to be the Massillon Women's Club, to serve as its home.
Yeah.
And that was only 25 years later because the library opened in the old Russell home in 1899 and 25 years later.
1924. So we're celebrating the 100th anniversary of having Five Oaks be our home for the Massillon Women's Club from 1924 to 2024 and throughout this whole year.
Yeah. And the library is celebrating our 125th anniversary
Oh, wonderful.
kind of throughout this whole period as well. So
Yes.
How perfect is that?
I know.
Great.
So other connections between the library and the Women's Club. I'm not sure if there's anything more
Well-
recent, although I know some of our staff have been on the Heritage Foundation board, so a little modern day connections there.
That's good. We just came from literary section, so
Yes,
No,
we
so
definitely
that's
have.
right, because the club is divided into different sections. I know you have social, because that would be the one I would join.
wine, also a fun
okay.
one. Yes.
Yeah, we have 11 different sections.
11. Oh,
11,
wow.
yeah. So we have fine arts and history, literary, handcraft, garden, hobby and garden. So yeah, a lot of different interests that, just the ladies get together and you get to know one another, and it's a wonderful, wonderful way to get to know each other.
And for those who think that it's just a time to get social, each of those sections then has a philanthropy that they support. And so they're going through a number of them. We are just this year, like Euchre section is supporting the Alzheimer's Association.
How nice.
And we have we have several doing Makeaway Inc., Family Living Center, Faith in Action, Rahab Ministries, Compass, and Katie's Kids are all philanthropies that are being supported. Some have multiple sections working on them at a time. And so it's pretty nice to be able to be giving back to the community at the same time.
Yeah, so your members can choose their section's charity of the year or whatever.
Yes, and every year it's something new.
Oh, okay.
And then they'll all do a major fundraiser, and then that will go to support that particular philanthropy. And it's really the beginnings. That was the heart of the Women's Club from the very start. They really were gathering together. They became a women's club because they were working together to do like Red Cross type of work.
That's
For
how they
World
met.
War One, right?
Yes, they were all Red Cross women, and when the war ended, they said, "Oh, we've been having so much fun getting to know each other." Not that it was fun at the war, but
No, but they were working together.
right, they got to know each other, and they said, "We need to have a club and continue this." So that's how it all started. And in 1919, they got together and they said, "Hey, let's draw up a charter," and they met, and it was born. And I think in September of 1919 was their first meeting. I'm sorry, I can't tell you how many ladies were there, but it was a lot. And that at the time, then the McClymonds sister says, "Well, you need a place to meet. The house is empty. Our parents' home is empty. Why don't you just meet there?" So that's how it all started.
Very nice.
And then a few years later, gave it to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
When they saw it was going to continue. Yes.
So what places in the building hold special memories for you in particular?
Oh, gosh. Currently,
They're looking at each other. I think there's a
there's
secret
so
here.
many.
my happy place right now is the gift shop.
Oh, sure.
So much fun that we really, I'll just put out a little commercial.
Put in a plug for the gift shop.
Yeah, absolutely. It's open whenever there's anything going on. So if there is a section meeting or a special event of some kind,
A tour.
the gift shop, you can request that the gift shop be open. And so I would just call if you were interested in shopping up there. Give a call and ask when's the next time it's going to be open, and they can give you the schedule. And it's all volunteer run, but Laurie and Sue, who do the buying, are amazing. And you see things there that you will not see anywhere else in Canton. It's just a very neat little boutique of very well-made and cute as can be clothing. So and gifts too, and jewelry and just fun things.
I know you have
holiday.
some kind of entertaining and kind of culinary type things. I think I've seen
Oh, yes.
in there, and I know at the holidays you had holiday things.
Oh, yes.
And it's
the
just-
holidays is one of our biggest sale times. So, yes, all the decorations. We put up at least 7 trees just in the gift shop.
Oh, my goodness.
40 throughout the house, but just 7 in the gift shop. And Suzie is one of my best volunteers.
Oh,
and
thanks.
I know what she likes. And
That's very
when
dangerous.
I shop, I'll go, "Oh, Suzie will like this."
Suzie
you
will
know?
buy
Yeah,
this
she will
from the
too.
gift shop.
How dangerous is that? And I have never done more expensive volunteering in my entire life. But
spend your whole paycheck,
it's
right?
not the, oh my gosh. And that was, people said, they've been up there and they've said, "Oh my goodness, how do you do this? Well, don't you spend your whole paycheck?" And I'm like, yeah, we're volunteers.
So yeah, not really. But
So yeah, but everything is just so darn cute. But it is so fun when you have the buyer know exactly what you like. And
right, then she's picking things with you in
Exactly.
mind.
Ooh, Suzie wore that.
oh my gosh, yeah.
No, but we have fun. We plan for fashion shows shows. Every Christmas time, we have a holiday fashion show. So actually next week, Sue and I are headed to Atlanta to go to that. Yeah, Atlanta Smart for shopping, get things for next year. Well, for this fall for our fashion show and for Christmas. So that's a very fun and busy time, but we're looking forward to that next week.
And boy, do they have an eye. Because can you imagine going from building to building to building?
To pick.
It'd be overwhelming. And then think, what would the ladies like?
Yeah, what would people buy in
Yes.
Massillon, Ohio?
Yes. And they've got it. It is so cute.
And of course, our reason for existing, the gift shop's reason for existing, is to give back to the club. So this past year, we gave $10,000 back to the club.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we're set to do that again this year. So
Very
yes.
nice.
Yeah, we're very pleased to be able to do that.
So the gift shop is kind of like maybe 3 rooms on the second floor. What about that other? Well, I would call it 3.
Yeah.
They're
Two
big
and a
rooms.
half, yeah.
It was a mansion. They're big
Yes.
rooms.
Yeah, okay,
So,
we'll say 3.
So the one was the guest bedroom. The one that you first enter was the guest bedroom, and it's really more of a sitting area guest bedroom.
I guess that's why I think it's 2.
Yes, it is
It
kind of
has a
2 rooms
sitting
there. And then there's just all the bedrooms are attached throughout the whole upper floor by either a bathroom or a closet. So you could literally go from one bedroom all the way around to the other. But so there's a little adjoining room, and then the back bedroom was, I believe, Edna's bedroom.
So one of the daughters.
Yes, one of the daughters, the older one, and that was her beautiful room.
And the one room where the McKinleys would stay when they would visit.
That's
them.
right,
They
President
were
and Mrs. McKinley
very
would
good
come.
friends, and yes. And you can see a photograph on the wall, black and white photo of what it looked like then. It's very cool. Anywhere you go in the whole home, you see it as it is now. And then there's always a photograph of it back then.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Very
I was
cool.
just there in December, but I didn't notice in every room there's a photo.
You find, I think every room's
Most
got
of them.
one. Yeah,
Now we're going to have to come and do the tour and make sure that's right.
You have
Correct.
to. Yeah. Yes. Check me on that. But it is very fun to see what just I'm such a nerd for history, and it's just so much fun to see what it was like. And I love time travel movies, and I would just love
Can we travel back?
Step into that picture.
Because
so cool.
It was the site in 1901 of Edna McClymonds, right, when she married Arvine Wales.
Yes.
And President and Mrs. McKinley did come to their wedding, so I know there's a photo of that. I know
Yes,
I've
there
seen
is.
that. And that's a beautiful picture with all the flowers and everything.
Yes.
Right in the billiard room, where you can go into the billiard room as it is now, which is the office
office?
of our manager,
Uh-huh.
and see that wedding photo right there. It's just very cool.
So how many rooms are in the home?
Oh, take it, Laurie.
Oh boy, I have to sit and count.
This is a test.
We recently had to get our insurance, a new insurance policy. So I do know there's about 160 windows. So
Oh, my goodness.
that was kind of a surprise to me. Oh wow, there's five bedrooms. I think there's 12 fireplaces. I would have to go around and count the rooms. Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
you can
exactly.
kind of say there's the kitchen, there's the dining room, there's the parlor and library and the great hall, music room, and then
Seven
head
rooms
upstairs.
downstairs, 5,
So
6,
yeah,
7.
and then all the
Yeah.
And, other spaces that kind of maybe don't count, kind of like the passage to the bathroom,
Right.
the entrance hall,
housekeeper's
foyer,
room, and the sewing
reception room. Yeah, love so
and
many rooms.
the ballroom.
the
Yes.
ball. Yes, and that has to be one of my other. You asked what significant
Yeah.
places. That one of our family weddings took place in the ballroom, and one of our family weddings took place in front of the fireplace down in the great hall. So those 2 spots are
Kind of favorites for
very,
you.
very cool. Yes.
Yeah, so beautiful.
And this may sound weird, but the little back staircase is kind of a favorite of mine.
Ooh.
And that would normally have been just for the staff, going up kind of back, keep out of, sight, back to the kitchen, back up to the back. But the reason it is when my husband, Andy and I got married, they had us come to the back door by the kitchen. And they said, okay, you're going to come to the back door and we're going to go up this back staircase and then you'll be on the second floor and no one saw you yet. Oh. And then we will announce you and you'll come down the main staircase. And it was really fun. Everybody's like, wait, how'd they get in
How
here?
did you get upstairs?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's tricky.
So
I
it was
love
kind of fun.
So Downton Abbey, because having the way so that people won't see, the fancy
Servants.
folks won't see you. And yes, it's very, very fun.
Oh, my goodness. So does the club have any special events or traditions as a club? I know you mentioned the fashion show. anything else?
So glad you asked.
Wait, she has a list.
My part here that I get to do on the board is publicity. And so, yes, we've got, especially Christmas is over, but Christmas, you have to see it at Christmas time. And there are just
beautiful.
a slew of events from November through January that are just beautiful. And it is always beautifully decorated to the time period. And it's never the same 2 years in a row. It's just so fun. But coming up, we have still many things. Coming up real soon. I don't know when exactly you're going to start.
Well, say it anyway. Maybe you'll have it next year. In case we miss
Daffodil
it.
Luncheon. Yes, we will have
Daffodil Luncheon.
Daffodil Luncheon's coming up. This year it's going to be springtime in Paris, and we've got all kinds of fun things planned.
April 10th and 11th.
Yep. The Mother's Day tea is going to be May 10th, and that also is a really nice. It doesn't have to be mother-daughter. It can be friends.
Sure.
Just a celebration of women friendships. The Rose Luncheon.
That's in June every year, right?
June 5th and 6th. Am I allowed to say what they're doing?
I think, yeah, sure.
Okay.
It's the theme a secret.
All right. Yeah. This is really going to be great. It's all going to be a tribute to Jackie Kennedy. And so they've got one of those actresses who speaks in the first person to come and portray. So Jackie's going to join us that day.
Wow.
And that's also going to be very, very fun. And then this one doesn't happen every year, but it is happening this year in the Clam Bake, August 16th. So get that on the calendar. That is a great time, and be watching for more information to come about that. But that's a great, great time. And that is a major fundraiser to help support all of the efforts of the club. Then they've moved Arts in the Garden. That used to be kind of a spring, summertime. We've decided to have that in the fall. So that is going to be in September. October.
It'll be this fall. It'll be this fall.
And that'll be, it'll be this fall. And more information, that was coming later than my
we couldn't card this year
of all the events. But that Arts in the Garden is very, very fun with really good jewelry and local artisans and crafters are just spread out in the back and along the streets, along 5th Street and also north.
Wine tasting.
Live
music.
Sticky buns.
Very fun.
And
the famous sticky buns.
Famous sticky buns. So, it's a really nice time. And now that we're moving it to the fall, a great place to get your things for the fall season and all of the holidays coming up then.
Sure.
You'll find it there.
Yeah, sounds nice. So, what do you see for the future of the club and Five Oaks?
We were talking about this. And for me, and Laurie's got much more to expand on, but for me, I see the future as continuing to honor the past. You don't want to let that go. There's just so much history here in Massillon, and so much of it is wrapped up in the families that were the founders and in these homes. And I think preserving their legacy and passing that on to future generations is an important thing. It keeps people grounded. And that's what I would like to see in the future.
Absolutely. And, we owe a debt of gratitude to the women who have been members over the last 100 years because the house still looks, I think if Ruth and Edna were here and they walked in, they go, oh yeah, we're home. They would still.
It's still the same.
It is. I mean, the paint and most of the paint, I think. And now the upstairs, obviously there's some things but the downstairs, I would say it's basically original the way it looked. And much of the entire house. So what a debt of gratitude we owe to them. And of course, we want to continue that, taking care of her, and just to expand upon all the things that we do. Maybe we've added some new things. This year we added Breakfast with Santa, which was just kind of a fun event. We've never done that before. Expand on new events, get to know
Snowball.
new women. Yes, the holiday snowball. We did bring that back. That used to be an annual event.
And is that a dance?
Yes.
Like a snowball?
Yes. Yes, it was wonderful. We had the Savoy Big Band. That was great. It was 40s music, and it was wonderful. So we want to do that again. So trying to maybe bring back some things that haven't been done in a while, add some new things. And
get those old favorites again.
Yes.
And like you're saying, Breakfast with Santa, well, you're inviting the little
little
children
ones.
in, and so they're going to have a memory of coming to this castle.
Yes.
Yes.
And we do
mansion.
have educational programs. We have a committee that brings in, I don't know how many school children, but it's a lot.
Hundreds of school children.
Yes, every year. And the kids come in and they just, their jaw drops open.
Sure.
And they give them a fun tour and just teach them all about what it was like back then, if they, But also the philanthropy. I mean, that's how it all began, and we definitely want to continue that. When we celebrated the 100 years of giving of the house, I was able to get into the archives and dig around at all these scrapbooks we have, and it was so amazing to see. And we've been trying to put out little news tidbits every month, like, did you know that the annual dues used to be $3, and which is really amazing. And did you know that at Christmas time they would collect old toys and they would fix them up and paint them, and then take them to needy families in the area. So
how nice.
we want to continue that, and we're maybe not doing it in the same way, but it's definitely our heart there.
Yeah, I don't want to say that too fast about the educational programs, because if anybody's interested in having their school come take a tour, Patty
sure.
Carmela does an amazing job with all of that, and that educational outreach is so important. Can I give the phone number?
Sure, that'd be great.
Call 330-833-4896 for basically anything that we're talking about. And I'll say this, we had a slumber party there.
Oh, no
At
way.
the end of January. So we can say, not many people can say that they've been there all night long in the dark, listening to the scary noises of the house. What is it?
Basically, the heating system makes a lot of noise. Yeah,
the heating system makes a lot of noise, but totally safe and fun, and we just had a wonderful time. But notice things when you're laying there looking at the ceiling, seeing things you've never seen before. It was
Yeah,
very,
all the
very
architectural details and everything.
fun. So we're open to new ideas of things to be held at the Massillon Women's Club. That's the first
I'm
time.
sure-
That's first for that.
Do the rentals of the building go through the Women's Club?
Yes.
And they don't go through the Heritage Foundation?
That's
Correct.
So if anybody wants to
Have
rent
a wedding,
the facility for a wedding,
special occasion,
they can call that number.
big birthday party. Yes, just call that same number. It's 330-833-4896.
And is there a website or Facebook?
There is, and it's terrible to try and get it to. It's MassillonWomen'sClub.weebly.com, or look for us on Facebook. Everything is on there.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and joining me today. I really appreciate you expounding upon the McClymonds family and our library and Women's Club connection. Thank you so much for being here.
We appreciate you, Laura. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for listening to the Laura the Library Lady podcast. Be sure to check out the rest of the episodes on the Massillon Public Library's YouTube channel. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many other podcast platforms.